I was sitting in traffic yesterday, just uh, staring at the car in front of me, and I started thinking about exhaustion, like real exhaustion.
Hmm.
And it's rarely the big stuff, is it? It's not the marathon you run or, the big project you finally ship. It's the friction.
Oh, yeah.
It's the hundreds of tiny, invisible decisions you have to make before you can actually do anything meaningful.
It's the death by a thousand cuts.
Yeah.
It's looking for the document, then realizing you need the password for the document,
Yeah.
then formatting the email to send the document.
Exactly. And the source material we're looking at today, frictionless efficiency, it proposes something that honestly, it just stopped me in my tracks.
Okay.
It argues that we are living through this massive technological shift with AI, yet most of us are using these tools completely wrong.
We're using the Ferrari to go to the mailbox.
Yeah, that's the analogy. We're treating them like search engines.
Right. If you go to ChatGPT and ask, what is the capital of France?
Mm.
You're using a supercomputer as an encyclopedia. You're
Yeah.
using it for novelty.
And the shift we're exploring today is moving from that novelty to utility. How do we stop using AI as an oracle and start using it as a workflow engine?
A workflow engine. That's the key.
That is a very distinct concept. So, welcome to the deep dive. We are going to unpack some really practical AI workflow hacks, but we're going to filter them down to the ones that actually matter.
We're looking at professional friction, domestic friction, which is a huge one for me, and the logistics of travel.
And just to set expectations, the mission here isn't to add more apps to your phone. It's not about becoming a power user just for the sake of it.
No, it's about subtraction. It's
Yeah.
about using this tech to strip away all that administrative drag so you can actually get your brain back.
Okay, let's start with the professional side, because I think this is where that search engine mindset is the most entrenched.
For sure.
Right.
We use it to write an email, maybe summarize a report.
But the source points out a much deeper bottleneck: standard operating procedures, documentation.
Ugh, the unsexy stuff that actually runs the world.
Nobody wakes up excited to write a training manual.
No. And that's a classic scaling problem, right? You know how to do a complex task. Maybe it's pulling a specific data report, but explaining it to someone else takes 3 times as long as just doing it yourself.
So you never explain it. You just keep doing it, and you become the bottleneck.
Exactly. But the hack here bridges that gap between doing and documenting using multimodal AI.
Okay, how?
The strategy is to open a voice recorder while you are actually doing the task. You just narrate your actions in real time.
So literally talking to yourself while you work. Okay, now I'm clicking the settings gear. Now I'm scrolling down.
It sounds a little crazy in the moment, sure. It's stream of consciousness. It's going to be messy. You might, stumble or correct yourself.
Right.
But then, and this is the workflow part, you upload that raw audio file to the AI with a very specific prompt. You don't just say, summarize this.
What do you say?
You say, convert this transcript into a step-by-step standard operating procedure. Use bold headers for actions. Assume the reader is a beginner.
I see. So you're offloading the structuring part to the model. You provide the raw knowledge. It provides the architecture.
Precisely. You convert the physical action of doing the work into documentation, like instantly.
Right.
The friction of formatting and typing is just gone.
That seems like a really high ROI move. But what about friction with other people? Meetings, for instance. I think we're all guilty of the 5-minute panic trap.
Oh, yeah. You're about to jump on a call. You realize you have no context, so you frantically Google the person.
And you end up with their job title and maybe their college. It's surface level. It's just noise.
Exactly. So the workflow hack is to use AI to synthesize context, not just find facts. You take their LinkedIn URL, paste it into the model, and ask for pattern recognition.
Pattern recognition. Okay, what does that look like in a prompt?
You ask something like, based on this profile, what are 3 non-obvious conversation starters? What themes appear in their work history? Maybe they move from finance to nonprofit work. That's a story. The AI finds that story.
So you start the meeting by saying, I noticed you made a fascinating pivot in 2018, instead of, so, what do you do?
Yes. It immediately changes the temperature of the room. It signals you've done your homework, even if it only took you 30 seconds. It lets you skip the small talk.
Speaking of high-stakes communication, what about job interviews or asking for a raise? The source mentions using simulation.
It sounds a little like acting class, but without the embarrassment.
Right.
The friction here is emotional. It's fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
We put off difficult conversations because we can't predict how the other person's going to react.
So how do you simulate that?
You use voice mode on a model like Gemini or ChatGPT, and you set the stage. You tell the AI, Act as a skeptical CFO. I'm going to pitch you on a budget increase. I want you to interrupt me. I want you to be difficult.
That sounds genuinely stressful.
It should be. It's a flight simulator. You want to crash in the simulator so you don't crash the actual plane.
Oh.
If the AI asks you a tough question and you freeze, that's useful data. You can pause, regroup, try again. By the time you're in the real meeting, your brain has already lived it. The anxiety drops.
It's using AI to build muscle memory, not just text.
Exactly. And for research, the source highlights Notebook LM because of its grounding feature.
So how does that work for, say, a job interview?
Well, you upload the company's annual report, their last 10 blog posts, and the job description into one notebook. Then you ask, generate the 10 most likely interview questions based specifically on these texts.
So it's not giving you generic questions like, what is your biggest weakness?
No, not at all. It'll ask you, how would you apply your experience to our new Q3 strategy for the Asian market? It uses their own internal language. You walk in sounding like an insider.
Okay, let's pause on that. If AI can handle the preparation, the documentation, the research, and even simulate the conversation.
I see where you're going with this.
If AI handles all the prep, does that mean our only real job left is the actual decision-making?
Yes. It strips away the admin work so you can focus purely on judgment and execution.
Okay, let's pivot. Because work friction is one thing, but home friction is. It's a different kind of exhausting.
It's the invisible labor, the stuff that keeps the house running but nobody ever applauds you for.
Right. And the visual capabilities of these tools seem to be the unlock here. The appliance repair example really struck me.
You mean because you usually just ignore the weird noise until the appliance dies?
Guilty. It's the most expensive way to deal with it.
Well, the hack is multimodal analysis. You don't hunt for the manual you threw away. You just take a picture of the control panel, that error code or blinking light, and you ask the AI, identify this model, explain this error code, and give me the step-by-step reset instructions.
It's like having the technician's cheat sheet.
It connects the visual data to the technical manual. It works for stains, too. Red wine on a carpet? Don't guess. Take a photo, identify the fabric, ask for the right solution.
But the one that really hit home for me, and I'm going to be honest here, this is a daily struggle, is the what's for dinner problem.
Oh, yeah.
It's 6:00 p.m. I'm staring at a full fridge, but my brain just, it stops. I can't compute a meal.
That is decision fatigue in its purest form. Your executive function is just done for the day.
So we order takeout.
Right. The fix is to outsource the creativity.
Yeah.
You open the fridge, you snap a photo of everything on the shelves, and you upload it. The prompt is key. I have these ingredients. I have 20 minutes. Give me 3 simple, healthy meal options.
Why 3? Why not just ask for the best one?
Because 1 option feels like an order, but 10 is overwhelming. 3 gives you a sense of agency without the fatigue. Stir fry, omelet, or pasta. The friction of infinite possibility is gone. You just pick B.
I love that. It creates a menu based on your actual reality. What about the step before that, though? The grocery shopping, the master grocery list hack.
This solves what I call tab overload. You know when you have 5 different recipe tabs open in your browser?
And you're scrolling back and forth, trying to write it all down.
And you end up with 3 bags of carrots because you didn't check the overlap. So the workflow is, copy the URLs of all the recipes, paste them into the AI.
Okay.
Then you prompt, create a single master grocery list, deduplicate all the ingredients, so combine the flour amounts, and here's the important part, organize the list by the aisle of the grocery store.
Organized by aisle. Oh, that's the real friction remover right there.
It turns a cognitive task planning and sorting into a pure execution task. You walk in, follow the list top to bottom, and you walk out. No backtracking.
There's a theme here. It seems like we're always trying to separate the planning from the doing.
That is the core insight. Friction happens when we try to plan and execute at the same time. AI is a great planner. It sets up the pins so you can just knock them down.
But I have to ask, if we use AI to fix our appliances and plan our meals, are we de-skilling ourselves? Are we just becoming helpless without the bot?
We aren't losing skills. We are reclaiming the mental energy usually wasted on logistics like sorting grocery lists.
We are back. We've covered work and home. Now let's talk about moving through the world. Logistics. Travel.
Yeah, travel is supposed to be fun, but the planning part is often just high-stress logistics.
The hack that caught my eye was the en route stop. This solves a problem that Google Maps is actually not very good at.
Right. Google Maps is great at go from A to B. It is terrible at nuanced queries.
Yeah.
Let's say you're driving from Seattle to Portland. You want coffee, but you need easy parking. And you don't want to drive 10 minutes off the highway.
If you just search coffee in Maps, it shows you everything, including the tiny stand downtown you can't even get to.
Exactly. So you use an LLM with web access. You say,
Mhm.
I am driving south on I-5 from Seattle. Find me a highly rated coffee shop that is less than 3 minutes from an exit and has a large parking lot.
It filters for the negative constraints. Not far from the highway, not small parking.
And it gives you one or two perfect options. You've just saved yourself so much frustration.
That idea of constraints applies to itinerary planning, too. I'm so guilty of the impossible itinerary, trying to see 5 museums in one morning.
We all are. We're optimists when we plan. The AI is a realist, so the hack is constraint-based planning.
How does that work?
You act as the client, and the AI is the travel agent. You tell it, I'm going to Paris for 3 days. I love art, but I hate crowds. I have a budget of X. Create an itinerary that allows for 2 hours of downtime every afternoon.
You force it to prioritize downtime.
You force reality onto the plan. It'll tell you, look, you can't do the Louvre and Versailles in the same day if you want downtime. It saves you from your own ambition.
And what about packing? I am a chronic overpacker.
Context-aware lists. Don't just ask for a packing list for Chicago. Ask, I'm going to Chicago in November for a tech conference. I need professional clothes, but I'm carry-on only, and I plan to run outside in the mornings.
So it balances the suit, the winter coat, and the running shoes.
It acts as a logic check. It remembers the adapter, the power bank, all the things you forget when you're rushing.
And there's one more travel hack that circles back to that simulation idea we talked about. Language.
This is huge for confidence. If you're going to Italy, you might know ciao. But ordering a full meal is terrifying.
You just don't want to look stupid.
So role play it. Act as a waiter in a Roman trattoria. I want to ask for a table for 2. Correct my pronunciation.
You get to stumble in private.
And when you get there, you've already said the words. The neural pathway is already there.
It's incredible how these tools can lower the barrier to entry for real-life experiences. But I'm curious, does the perfect efficiency of an AI itinerary kill the spontaneity of travel?
No, because by handling the logistics, hotels, routes, you actually free up mind space to be present and spontaneous in the moment.
That makes a lot of sense. You aren't staring at your phone, so you can actually look at the scenery. Okay, this last segment is where things get really interesting. We're moving from being consumers of these tools to being creators.
This sounds a bit intimidating. Building tools sounds like I need to learn how to code.
And that's the misconception. The source highlights this shift where just plain English becomes the coding language.
You mean with these mini apps?
Exactly. What even is a mini app in this context?
Think of those tiny, annoying problems that no software company is ever going to solve for you. Like maybe you and your roommates split rent based on the square footage of your bedrooms.
That's a very specific math problem.
Right. There's no app for that. But you can go to a tool like Claude or ChatGPT and just say, build me a simple calculator where I input the total rent and the square footage of 3 rooms, and it calculates the split.
And it just builds it.
It writes the code and renders a working, clickable tool right there in the chat window.
Whoa.
You can use it on the spot. You've basically just wished a piece of software into existence.
That is wild. You become a software engineer for 30 seconds to solve a one-time problem.
It's disposable software. You stop waiting for an app to exist and you just build it yourself.
Another great one from the source is the screenshot decoder.
The desktop graveyard.
I have hundreds of screenshots. I'll need this setting later.
And you never look at them because you forget what they even mean. So the hack. You batch upload those screenshots to the AI.
Okay.
And you prompt, analyze these screenshots, explain what technical process is happening here, and convert it all into a text-based checklist.
It decodes the visual memory into a text workflow.
It turns a pile of random images into a user manual. It's incredibly powerful for learning new software.
So looking at all of this, from voice noting SOPs to building our own rent calculators, it feels like we're not just consuming these tools anymore.
We're engaging as architects. We're building the scaffolding to make our own lives easier.
So this shifts the user from asking for help to building a solution. What does that do to our relationship with software?
It democratizes software. We stop waiting for an app to exist and just build a mini tool to solve our specific friction point.
Okay, let's try to unpack this whole thing. We've covered a lot of ground, from voice noting SOPs to photographing our pantries.
It is a lot. And that brings us to what I think is the most critical insight from the source material, the rule of 1.
Yes, because the temptation right now is to turn this off and try to do all 21 hacks at once.
Which would create massive friction. The irony would be terrible. The source is very clear about this. The instruction is to pick one hack, just one, and apply it this week.
It's about building the muscle.
Right. AI isn't for one-off answers. It's for repeated thinking. It only becomes a real time saver when it replaces a loop you do every single day.
So if you struggle with dinner, do the pantry hack. If you hate meeting prep, do the LinkedIn hack. Just pick one.
The whole shift is moving from AI as a novelty, a party trick, to AI as a cognitive assistant, a partner, something that takes the load off so you can be human.
I love that. So here is the challenge to you, the listener. Identify that one source of friction in your week. Is it the grocery list, the email drafting, the travel planning?
Pick that one thing, apply the hack, see if you get that time back.
Because if you aren't saving hours yet, it's probably not because the AI isn't smart enough. It's because you're using it as a search engine, not a workflow partner.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll see you next time.
Take care.